Hi, I'm Allison from Move Smart and Boomerang, and as you may know, I've been dealing with a back spasm this week, and it finally has eased, and I thought this was a great time to go over 5 really good strategies for the phase after the really acute, where you can start to move, but you still need a little extra tender loving care. So the first step is to place a block or a book or something that's got a little height to it, but is solid rather than a cushion, under your pelvis so that it's really well placed under your sacrum so that your lower back gets to just traction off the block and down towards the floor. You will need to gauge your own sensitivity to this. It should feel like a good thing, not a terrible thing. If it doesn't feel good, then go for a lower height. You may need to shift your position a little bit as you hang out here. And I would say hang out for anywhere from 1 minute to 5 minutes, depending on what feels good to you. The next step is to get into some stretching for the fronts of your hips, because even if it's your lower back that's been bothering you, often there's a front of hip, front of thigh connection. So bring one leg in towards your chest, slide the other leg down, flat on the floor if that's possible for you, or until you feel a good stretch, like not a good intense stretch, but like a 2 or a 3 out of 10. If bringing your knee in all the way towards your chest doesn't work for you, you could go behind your leg, you could hold on to your pants, you could wrap a yoga strap around your thigh, just whatever's going to give this leg a good position that works for your body. Again, you can hang out with this for anywhere from sort of 1 to 3 minutes. And then, same thing, other side, another 1 to 3 minutes. And when you've done those two, the just resting on the block and then the front of the hip and thigh stretch, you can take the block out. And if your back is still tweaky, you're going to do that slowly and carefully with lots of pressure of your heels pushing into the floor rather than using your back to lift you up. Take your feet nice and wide. Keep your ribs soft and heavy to the floor. And just gradually glide your legs from side to side. The goal is not here to move from your back and your ribs. The goal is to keep your ribs and your spine and your pelvis reasonably heavy with this nicely controlled descent of your legs as they shift from side to side. So we're looking at mobilizing your legs in your hip sockets and again, kind of ungumming a little bit of that leg, hip, trunk, spine tension that can build up as you're going through the acute phase where you're not moving very well, if you're moving even at all. So you can do 10 or 12 of those in each direction. Come on back to center, line your heels up with your sit bones, with the bottom of your pelvis. And then let's actually move a little bit actively using your stomach muscles to create a little tiny curl. So the goal is to keep yourself nice and stable here. You might want something under your head, if that feels better for you. And you're going to do a very small pelvic curl. And then relax and just stop curling. So again, you are your own sensation gateway control. The movement, the driver for this is to engage your lower stomach muscles. So think of curling your pubic bones towards the wall behind you, and allowing for this passive lengthening of your lower back, of the space between the bottom of your ribs and the top of your pelvis. You don't need to go very far. You just want to keep your feet nice and resty on the floor. You're not pushing with your legs, you're not pushing with your feet. And you go to what feels like a good, again, we're not looking for a ton of sensation here, so in that 2 to 3 to 5 range for what you're feeling in your back. If you're still early on in the phase coming out of the acute stage, you probably won't be able to go very far before you feel quite a lot of stretching sensation in your lower back, so keep it contained. If that's the case for you, you might want to just stop with that. If that feels really good, you can then progress farther into a whole spinal roll. So you're continuing to drive from your stomach muscles, rolling your pubic bones towards the wall behind you until you get to the point where you feel you need to push with your feet. So now you're using your abs and pushing with your feet and your legs. rolling up through your spine, and then peeling back down. And again, the idea here is to find some mobility and some ease for your spine, some ease for how your pelvis is moving relative to your legs. We're not forcing, we're not jamming, and we're not really going for big sensation. Certainly, if you start to feel anything that's heading you back into your back spasm, then you would slow it down, make it smaller, check in with your breath, see if you are breath holding, and can you just sigh yourself down. Take a breath in as you're on the floor, and then sigh yourself up. So we're really looking for this really gentle flow, and your range is going to match what works for you. And then we can do one more thing. You can come up in whatever way works for you, maintaining the control of your body. Come over onto your hands and knees, nice and strong through your arms, palms really pressing into the floor. And then we'll do a very segmented, intentional cat-cow. So same as you just did lying on your back, use your stomach muscles to curl your pubic bones around. And if you don't like thinking in terms of muscle, that's okay. Just think of the bottom of your pelvis curling towards the wall in front of you until you feel your lower back open and widen, your ribs lift up towards the ceiling. You stay strong, pressing your arms and hands into the floor. Keep coming down and around until you think of the crown of your head pointing towards the wall behind you. So your pelvis is pointing this way, head is pointing this way, lower back opening up towards the ceiling as much as your upper back, right? Sometimes with a cat-cow, we leave the lower back behind. And then you release, and you float yourself back through center, and then let your back relax, sliding your chest and your collarbones forward towards, towards the mat in front of you. We don't need to go all the way towards the wall. And then repeat that one again. And you can do this, of course, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. We're going to go through it twice for the sake of the length of this video. And then you return. And of course, same as with the other ones, you modify your range to match what your body needs today, needs right now. And you can move more, you can move less, whatever fits and whatever works for you. And let me know in the comments below if this works for you or if you have other excellent back exercises you love to do. And we will follow this with a breathing exercise in a few days, so check back for that. If you like this, hit the little like button, maybe hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.